Mr. Mayor, I'd like to be sure that I'm apprised of the meetings that you're having on the west side. I understand that you've been making you're meeting with Anaheim First and other quote-unquote officials from District 1 and 2. I read it on Nextdoor, and I'm just really wanting to make sure that we're going to all be team players here and making sure this is accomplished.
I will take your comments and make the appropriate task force who will be sitting with me. At this time, I'm deciding who will be on the task force.
So is that a yes or a no?
At this time, I have not decided yet. Thank you.
I'm not pleased with that answer, sir. I really think that if we're going to do this, we should do it together and make sure that our residents have their voice and not just be driven because the special interest that you have.
There is no special interest. I'm forming a task force. It will be decided in the West Anaheim task force. There will be a representative from the task force, and I'll decide it very soon who will be on the task force, and the residents will be involved to make a decision making. So they will be there.
I truly am appalled that you would do that.
Yes, they will be. They will be notified. So,
City manager, is that something you could recommend?
The mayor, his office, his authority, has ability to form task forces as he so chooses, is my understanding. Yeah. As well as council members.
So I'm appealing to you. This is the type of dysfunctional city council that we have. I was appointed and voted for District 1, but the mayor continues to override projects, voices, and other authority in the city. Please, I got your emails. I listened to you. But you know what? The next time it's not going to be that easy. Thank you.
thank you. Councilmember Barnes, I don't want to be disrespectful for you. You were the councilwoman for 2 years on 39 comms, not moved a needle. I came in, I took the project and where it is today. So at this time, I don't want to have any more discussion.
Mr. Mayor, I beg your pardon. I had homeless in my backyard, 40 tents, an encampment for over 6 months. If you want to see District 1 down here with a voice, Jody, Amanda, Kathy Tran, Kathy Chance, get down here.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you very much. And that's the same thing goes for the homeless. You know, I represent all the residents, so you guys all should know that I'm not just looking at West Anaheim. As a mayor who was elected by the entire city, I look at all the residents, and I'm looking at every district, also what goes on, specifically in your district when you had an issue for about 2 years, homeless issue, could not resolve this. I came and put the shelters within 14 days. This is what you call the leadership in getting things done. So I'm not going to be discussing at this time on this. We are discussing this particular 39 Comms project. If you want to discuss this project, I'm open for communication. Thank you. Councilwoman Kling, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I have to say I'm thrilled to pieces that 39 Commons is coming to fruition. I have been around the city since 1996. I remember the angst that we had with Stinkin' Lincoln and Lincoln and Beach. So I've been around a lot longer than most of you. And it's wonderful to see that this is finally taking shape. And I can't wait till we start turning some dirt. And I'd like all of us to get a shovel and help them turn the dirt. Why not? So if they start just putting the time off, tell them we're going to go to 39 Commons and start digging. So we want it sooner rather than later, John. It's very crucial to the whole city. Thank you.
Councilmember Marino, you have the floor.
Mr. City Manager, I would appreciate for both the residents and certainly for my information and recollection if the staff could put up a timeline about this project. I believe the mayor has made assertions tonight that are false and misleading to the public, that somehow he came in and waved a magic wand. I recall at least 2 votes within the last 2 years where this chambers was celebratory, moments of unity in a very difficult previous council. that rallied around this development. I think, John, you brought us those news. You brought in developers to do this work. We saw renderings. The specific plan was approved, all of that great work. So for Mayor Sidhu to say somehow that he came in and waved a magic wand, I think is both disrespectful to the work staff has been doing for years on this project, that community has been, and certainly I think it's what created the conditions for district-based elections, because the public was so concerned that they were so ignored for so long. So to have the District 1 duly elected representative summarily ignored by a mayor who didn't even win the election in District 1. District 1 didn't vote for him, but now is claiming kingdom here is quite appalling, Mr. Mayor, and unbecoming of your office. I think, again, the spirit of going back to the unity we had, even in the contentious council, in the last iteration, we did rally around this project. And I would hope that you would continue that spirit by working with Councilwoman Denise Barnes. I'll also note that I am concerned that there's a lot of money. There is if folks want to look at this, which is why we did an ordinance of a lobbyist registry, that there is a lobbyist named Jeff Flint who is lobbying for this project on behalf of Green Law Partners, who was a big money donor in last week's fundraiser for Mayor Sidhu. And that lobbyist, if you look at the record, has spoken to most council members except the one who actually represents that district. So I think, Mr. Mayor, I would echo the sentiments of the District 1 representative that she is the duly elected. It's not about you becoming friends here. It's simply about being respectful of the voters and of that district. They do have an official voice, and that's why they voted for district elections in that district. So I would hope you would honor the request by the councilwoman, and also that Councilwoman Brandman would also honor that, because I know the lobbyist has been meeting with him regularly around this specific project as well, at least according to the lobbyist. No, I'm just, I want, of course you did. Of course you did. You're taking meetings with lobbyists about a project that's in another district regularly. So again, I think that the call here is for us to respect each other's representativeness. And so that's why we have public records. So again, Mr. Mayor, I hope you would consider the idea of including the councilwoman from that district.
If I may, Mayor, if I may.
Yes, Mr. City Manager,
Yeah,
please go ahead.
So I was kind of asked a question, so I'll kind of delve into this, and I will be brief. It's good to have the conversation about what is happening instead of what is not happening. And I can say that in working with the staff for the last 18 months, I can tell people that if the shovels turn this over, it will be the proverbial overnight success that took 20 years. So one of the things that I will say is that from day one, Councilmember Barnes has been in my office suggesting we need to work on this. It needs to happen from day one. When Mayor Sidhu came in the office, he said he wanted to make this thing move in West Anaheim. So I think it'll be enough credit to go around in terms of how this gets done, when this gets done. But I applaud that we're having the conversation about what's getting done, as opposed to when I got here, we would hear a conversation from people in West Anaheim saying, sinking Lincoln will stay sinking until it becomes stinking. Now it's actually a project. It's actually moving. And so, again, I think there's enough credit to go around, and we should all respect that. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Barnes, at this time.
Mayor Sidhu, I still had a minute and 58
Would you like to have your
seconds.
second 5 minutes?
So I just want to be clear with the city manager on my request, and that's actually the nature of my request, is just to make sure that the public is very clear about the record that's played out here, because it's also about staff, right, and the work that you all have done. So again, I'd like to request, if there's no objection, if we could have a timeline of just these moments of this project. If you'd like to do it over 20 years, fine, but at least over the last 5 to 8 years when this really took off. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Barnes, would you like to speak? Councilmember Barnes, would you like to speak, or? Thank you. Councilmember Crane?
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor. A lot of angry voices here today, a lot of emotions. But I have to tell you, as I said before, I've been here a long time. And the fact of the matter is this project was stalled for many, many, many years, to the point where the city was going to get rid of Zellman and going out for an RFP because Zellman was dragging his feet. This was a very, very dirty piece of property, and it had to be cleaned up, and that took a very long time. And we can't build on certain parts of that property because of the types of soils that are there. Everything has to be shored up. So this is the best deal. And you got Zellman, who is still there. He's going to do the retail. And yes, you have Rob Mitchell from Greenlaw, who's going to do the housing down the street. And the fact of the matter is that a lobbyist is entitled to talk to anybody on council, anybody at City Hall. It's not against the law. And we have this Sunshine Act that they absolutely talk about it. And I never knew that Jeff Flint was the lobbyist on this project until you brought it up. So I'm not sure if I believe you or not, because I don't know. I have no firsthand knowledge of that. Jeff Flynn has never talked to me about this project because I have been an enthusiastic supporter of this for the last 20-some years. And I'm glad that District 1, it's going to be there. I wish I had some. Well, you wanted something from my district in your district, and now you're getting something in your district that I'd like to get in my district. So there you go. That's why we have this huge city, and that's why we're a successful city, and we have something for everybody in every district. So thank you. But let's try to keep the angst a little down and stop being so accusatory.
Thank you, Councilmember Barnes.
I was looking through the lobbyists. We do have a site for transparency, and Mr. Flint did acknowledge meeting with you, Lucille, under a DDA for 39 comments. I wish that he would have maybe had you sign it first before he reported it, but it's there. It says DDA 39
I don't
comments.
look at them. Sorry,
Yeah.
I have more things to do than look at
I
lobbyist
agree with you,
reports.
but I just wanted to let you know that it's there, and also the other council members and the mayor. So thank you.
Thank Councilmember O'Neill.
Thank you. The item before us is the authorization to have the city manager execute documents related to a subdivision map. Not a discussion of a task force, not a discussion of lobbyists, not a discussion of campaign contributions. And I'd like to move the item, please.
There's a motion to move the item number 8. Is there a second? Councilmember Barnes, second that. At this time, Councilmember Fessel, you have make a comment.
Just very briefly, back in my days as a planning commissioner, John, I think you and I remember that my fingerprints are on this a long time ago. I'm glad that it's been brought to this point. Nothing more. Thank you.
Thank you. There's a motion and a second on item number 8. Please vote.
The vote is 7 ayes, no nays. Motion carries.
Thank you. Next item.